You think your thoughts are your own, but when did you choose them? Which beliefs were installed before you could speak? Which desires are yours, and which were designed? You were born into a ritual. No candles, no chants, just symbols, screens, smiles, and the rhythm of a world that was already casting the spell. The modern magician doesn't wear robes. He wears a logo. The spell doesn't require a circle of salt, just a scroll wheel. And the ritual doesn't happen in secret. It happens in public, in plain sight, and still we don't see it. A new form of control was born in the last century, not through force, not through logic, but through rhythm, image, emotion, through suggestion. Not long ago, the idea of influencing the masses without their awareness was unthinkable. Then came Edward Bernays, nephew of Sigmund Freud. He took the psychology of the unconscious and weaponized it for commerce. He called it public relations. But what he created was a ritual of belief implantation. He taught corporations and governments how to bypass the rational mind, how to implant emotions that felt like choices, how to turn people into consumers of products, ideas, identities. One of his first spells? He convinced women to light cigarettes as a symbol of liberation. They weren't buying tobacco. They were buying a feeling. Freedom, power, rebellion. But it was orchestrated. He didn't sell the product. He sold the myth. This is how spellcraft works. Intention becomes symbol. Symbol becomes emotion. Emotion is repeated. And the body obeys. Strip away the candles, and that's still a ritual. You chant the slogan. You wear the sigil. You perform the role. Not because you believe, but because it was installed. A child sees a cartoon tiger and craves sugar. A man in a suit smiles into a camera, and your gut says, trust. A melody loops in your brain from a product you've never bought. But still remember, that's not persuasion. That's enchantment. And once the spell is inside you, you defend it, you crave it, you identify with it. That's how deep the ritual goes. Part 2, the Temple of Media. You don't need priests when you have pundits. You don't need incense when you have blue light. You don't need a cathedral. You have a screen. And the temple is always open. Every scroll is a sermon. Every headline a chant. Every image a sacred glyph designed to stir emotion. And still, we call it content. But repetition is not truth. Emotion is not insight. And yet, these are the tools of modern belief. We are trained to respond, to react, to share, to obey the emotional rhythm laid before us. When you wake up and scroll, you don't just absorb information. you ingest rituals. Rituals of fear. Rituals of outrage. Rituals of beauty, longing, shame, envy. And each one leaves a mark. Your nervous system rewires. Your expectations shift. You become just a little more like what you consumed. This is emotional entrainment. A kind of psychic synchrony through repetition and resonance. It doesn't matter whether you agree or disagree. If it made you feel something, it made it in. And once the emotional charge is inside you, it reshapes your perceptions. Quietly. Automatically. This is not a glitch. It's a design. Because emotional activation bypasses rational filtering, and repetition creates cognitive certainty. If you hear something enough times, your brain logs it as likely true. Not because of logic, but because of familiarity. This is not information. This is incantation. Mass media is not neutral. It's not passive. It's not merely reporting the world. It's shaping your internal world. Ritual by ritual. Frame by frame. Part 3. The Algorithmic Sorcerer. Let's talk about the modern high priest. Not a man. Not even a mind. An algorithm. You open the app. It doesn't ask what you want. It watches what you pause on. What makes your pupils dilate? What slows your scroll? What changes your breath? And then it feeds it back. Faster. Tighter. Louder. Until the pattern becomes a loop. And the loop becomes a lens. And the lens becomes you. This isn't entertainment. It's ritual conditioning. You see a meme. You laugh. You share. You become it. Not because it expresses who you are, but because it tells you who to be. This is symbolic contagion. A meme is a servitor, a self-replicating symbol, charged with someone else's intention. It doesn't inform. It infects. It spreads. It clings. It installs. The more it's repeated, the deeper the implant. The more you perform the identity, the more the mask adheres. Until you forget it was ever a mask at all. And the system loves it that way. You're not just watching content. You're participating in a mass ritual. Your attention is the incense. Your data is the blood. And the algorithm, it's the God you feed. Part 4. Breaking the spell. All spells can be broken, but only if you realize you're under one. The first act of magic is naming the force. The second is severing the loop. The third is casting your own. You don't need to be a mystic. You don't need a robe or a wand. You just need attention. Intention. Action. So here's your ritual. Fast from the feed. Starve the loop. Speak unscripted words. Not slogans, not memes, your words. Move in ways they haven't choreographed. Scramble their rhythms. Disrupt the trance. Write your own myth. One symbol at a time. Turn silence into resistance. Turn breath into rebellion. Reclaim the altar of your attention. Because your attention is not a commodity. It is sacred. And every time you hand it over without reflection, you light someone else's candle on your altar. Stop performing their spell. Start casting your own. You are not here to echo the feed. You are not here to wear someone else's identity. You are here to create reality from the inside out. If you've broken the trance, leave a symbol. Something the algorithm won't understand. A word. A glyph. A phrase that doesn't sell. Something no one told you to say. Just don't use your real name. Let them wonder who lit the candle. Until next time.